Hi, I'm Evie Bates, and in this presentation, I'll be discussing one of the most pressing economic issues affecting both consumers and businesses today: the ever rising cost of housing in New South Wales and the profound impact it is having on both business performance and survival. As housing affordability worsens, business owners are grappling with changing consumer behaviour. In this presentation, I'll explain why this is happening and what might be done about it. The business problem. The purchase price of housing in New South Wales urban centres has risen dramatically compared to the average income. This has pushed rental prices up too. Alongside this, rising interest rates have also made borrowing and living more expensive. The result? Declining demand, especially for non-essential or discretionary products like hospitality, entertainment, and travel. Small businesses that rely on this kind of spending are now feeling the pressure. Insolvencies are up, and it is clear that the cost of living has a direct and growing impact on business sustainability. This data comes from a combination of online sources, my own research, and layout from ChatGPT. Economic framework. So, what's driving these rising costs? It starts with supply and demand. Demand is high. Population growth in Sydney, especially through migration, has surged, combined with historically low interest rates and strong investor activity. This has boosted the demand for housing. On the supply side, things are more restricted. Zoning laws limit how much and where homes can be built. Materials and labour costs have also increased. When you compare demand with the available supply, it's clear that supply hasn't kept up, and this imbalance is a major contributor to price growth, as we can see on the top graph. The average house prices in New South Wales have significantly increased, same as rent in the graph below. Elasticity of supply and demand in New South Wales. This brings us to the concept of elasticity. In the short term, supply is inelastic. It takes years to build a new house, so even when demand rises quickly, supply can't respond fast enough. That leads to price increases. Demand for home purchases is also relatively inelastic. People still need somewhere to live, so even when prices are high, they keep buying or trying to buy. The same applies to rentals. Demand is again inelastic because housing is a basic need. Though we do see some variation as renters downsize or move further out. Supply and demand analysis. The crisis we're seeing is really an outcome of this imbalance between supply and demand. Average house prices in New South Wales have risen from $312,000 in 2000 to over $1.1 million in 2024. That's a huge increase, far outpacing wage growth, and it's made ownership unaffordable for many. This pushes more people into the rental market, increasing demand there too. As Alfred Markle explained, when demand exceeds supply, the price rises. That's exactly what we're seeing today: rising prices, limited supply, and widespread impacts of affordability in business. Interpretation of consumer and producer choice. Let's look at how this affects consumer and producer behaviour. Rising housing costs reduce disposable income. Under contractionary monetary policy, interest rates are rise to reduce demand and slow inflation. But this is also rises mortgage repayments and rents. This means people spend money on non-essentials like dining out, new cars, or tourism. These shifts in consumer choice directly affect producer choice. Creditor Watch reports that businesses rely on discretionary spending are hardest hit. One business owner in Foster said, "We've kept our prices where they are 2 years ago, which has really hurt our profitability." In 2024, nearly 10% of hospitality businesses in Australia closed, showing just how deeply this problem is affecting producers. Solutions. So, what can be done? The Reserve Bank will continue to use interest rates to manage inflation. But the real problem is supply. One major solution is for the governments to act as non profit housing developers, as they did in the mid 20th century. By building medium and high density housing, especially on the fringes of cities, we can help align supply with demand. This would make housing more affordable, reduce rent stress, and ultimately free up more consumer spending. This, in turn, could help stimulate demand across the wider economy, especially for businesses to rely on consumer activity. Conclusion. In conclusion, the housing crisis in New South Wales is driven by a mismatch between high demand and restricted supply. As home prices rise, so do rental prices, reducing consumer purchasing power and putting pressure on businesses, especially in discretionary industries like hospitality. Contrary monetary policy, while designed to control inflation, has made housing costs even more burdensome. The result is a business crisis, not just a housing one. The key long term solution for governments to increase housing supply through non profit development, helping to reduce pressure on both rental and purchasing markets. Addressing the housing issue is essential, not just for individuals, but for the health of the entire business sector.